Welcome to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I'm Andrew Wheeler, flying solo for now, just dropping in with a quickie to talk about the latest James Bond news. We officially have a director for the next James Bond movie, the first under the new Amazon-owned regime. It is Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune and Dune Part 2 and the forthcoming, I guess, Dune Part 3, also known for the Blade Runner and Sicario and Incendier. He is Canadian, which is exciting for us at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because we also are Canadian. Does that mean that we're going to get James Bond in Canada? Probably not. I mean, the movie will probably be shot at Pinewood at the James Bond stage, as they always are, plus on location. So the question is, will James Bond be traveling to Canada? Probably not. But Quebec is lovely. Denis Villeneuve is a very proud Quebecer. So maybe we'll see it. The other question that comes to my mind, is he going to give us Vivienne Michel, the Quebecois Bond girl who has never appeared on screen, who is the star of the novel version of The Spy Who Loved Me, and is a great character, actually. A big fan of that character, even if the book is a very odd one. But Vivienne Michel has potential, and it would make sense, I think, for a Quebec director to bring the Quebec Bond girl to the screen for the first time. So, are we excited about Denis Villeneuve? Absolutely. I mean, he is a phenomenal director who ticks a couple of very important boxes. Critically, he is beloved. Commercially, he does phenomenally well as well. He's also talked about Bond in the past. This is definitely someone who has said that Bond is something that he sees as a dream project. So, when someone has lobbied for the Bond gig, that's a pretty good sign. He respects the tradition. He grew up on the movies. I think this is someone who knows what to make of Bond as a franchise. And because he cares about action, because he thinks the language of action is important, he'll make a great Bond movie from an action standpoint. We don't know who the script is going to be by. He could write his own script. The timeline that Amazon has laid out suggests they would find a director, find a script, then find a Bond. So we may still be months and months away from knowing who our Bond will be, and they will be cast according to what works for the script. But of course, people are speculating. You can check out our recent tier ranking video where we talk about all the different Bond candidates and pick a few of our favorites. The only person I think on that list that has worked with Denis Villeneuve in the past is Daniel Kaluuya, who I don't think was on our top tier, but was pretty high. Like, he's a phenomenal actor. I don't know that I've seen him do action roles, so we'd be curious to see how that works out. I don't know how likely that is. There are no other Bond candidates that have worked with Villeneuve. He's not going to cast Timothée Chalamet or Ryan Gosling. Americans are not usually in contention for the role. Even French Americans like Chalamet. Who else has he worked with that we might see? He's already worked with a bunch of people who have been in Bond movies. So Ana de Armas, Dave Bautista. So who has he worked with that hasn't been in a Bond film that could be good? There's a few women that would make amazing Bond women. Emily Blunt, Rebecca Ferguson, and favourite of this house, Florence Pugh. Any of those people working with Villeneuve playing a starring role in the next Bond movie would be phenomenal. Oscar Isaac would be lovely to see, maybe as a Felix Leiter or as a villain. Killian is already being tipped as the possible villain, which makes a lot of sense, but that was before Villeneuve came on. Who knows? The other regular collaborator with Villeneuve is David Dastmalchian, who is, he's good at playing villains and hench people and slightly odd characters. I could absolutely see David Dastmalchian as a Bond henchie in the next movie. Roger Deakins, the cinematographer, has worked on Bond films in the past, has worked with Villeneuve, is one of the all-time greats, so would not be surprised to see him back in the saddle. Hans Zimmer, that's another collaborator. He did work on No Time to Die, so it would make sense for him to carry over, do another Bond score, and work with Villeneuve again. So yeah, potentially a very starry roster here, and Amazon, they have the money. They've already thrown billions of dollars at this franchise. When will this movie get made? Probably because Villeneuve is making Dune 3 right now and is shooting that through the summer. We're not going to be looking at them starting shooting until 2026 at the earliest. So we may not get a casting announcement until then. But we'll see. It's exciting to know that someone is actually taking charge of this project, and it's someone who has absolutely the credentials to make it succeed and to excite people. about the next Bond franchise. People are very skeptical about Amazon taking over, but someone like Villeneuve as the director tells you that they actually are taking it seriously. Amy Pascal and David Heyman, the producers, also were great choices, very serious and very well regarded producers. So far, things are looking pretty good for the future of the Bond franchise under Amazon. We will continue to check in with the latest developments, of course. Do not expect any more news to come anytime soon, I think. I suspect right now they're just looking at possible writers. Again, Villeneuve has written for himself as a director, so maybe he'll want to take it on himself, but he's a very busy man right now. So, yeah, be very curious to know if they'll announce a writer anytime soon, but I don't think there'll be any casting announcements for a good little while. Maybe there'll be some talk about what they're adapting, if they're adapting anything, because I think they could go back and adapt any of the previous works with a new title, make a new Bond movie based on a classic story. But then again, maybe they'll just want to do something completely new, as they have been doing for basically most of the last 20 years now. Occasional exceptions like Casino Royale. But Casino Royale was proof that going back to the source material can be a great thing to do. So, yeah, that's the news. Denis Villeneuve is the man in charge, and we will have a lot of suggestions for who we think he should cast, and we will be casting an eye over his movies. So, yeah, stay tuned for all the latest news. Until next time, kiss, kiss.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.